Hey everybody, welcome back to WNY High School Sportsline. This is Frank Wolf of WNYathletics.com. It is Tuesday, April 14th, and we've got a pretty good show for you today. We've got two wonderful guests that I'm going to get to in just a few seconds. We're going to talk just a little bit about what's going on in the world of high school sports. Not much right now with the whole pandemic still playing out. We got a long way to go. We know that Dr. Robert Zayas confirmed in a report through Lohad Sports down in Eastern New York there. Obviously, the kids got to get back in the classroom before we start talking seriously about having a spring sports season. So, if we can get back in the classroom, and that is the objective, we will try to have some sort of season. Baseball, lacrosse, softball, and track. Fingers crossed. Couple of national letters of intent were signed recently. A couple of football players. Grand Island's Ben Moskala is going to be going to Washington Jefferson. And from St. Mary's of Lancaster, Thomas Moss is going to Utica College. Congratulations to both of those gentlemen. Fine, upstanding men. Big fans of theirs. The 8-man football league as a new team. Roy Hart, Barker, Lindenville. We've told you about that a couple of times on WNY Athletics that they were heading that route. Well, it's official, and they received their schedules this week. It's official. It's not official. They've got like a little bit of time before they could say, you know what, that doesn't look right, and we may need to make a change. So it's official, but it's not official, if you will. It will be made by Section 5 in about a week or so. But a couple of dates to point out to you for those 8-man football teams, which are Frewsburg, Maple Grove, and then Roy Hart, Barker, and Lindenville. 5 schools, 3 teams. 8-man football. So Frewsburg is going to be taking on that Roy Hart team on September 25th, and they get Maple Grove on October 23rd. Maple Grove and Roy Hart, Barker, Lindenville will play October 2nd. We're going to have to come up with a name for Roy Hart, Barker, Lindenville. What can we call that? RHBL? BERHL. We got to come up with something. Someone out there that's creative, come out with a better name than Roy Hart, Barker, Lindenville. We got to mash it together like we do CSP. We got to do something different for that. I don't like the sound of that Roy Hart, Barker, Lindenville for an 8-man team. It's too many letters. I mean, there's more. That's too many letters. Someone fix that for me. At Wolf3328, some of your best nicknames for what can we call that 8-man football team, Roy Hart, Barker, Lindenville. We got to call it something else. I can't do this all year long. Roy Hart, Barker, Lindenville, 8-man football. Roy Hart and 8-man football just doesn't sound right to me, but it is. It's the direction that we're heading, so to speak, in numbers. They're just down everywhere, so they got football at least. And it's a pretty exciting game, believe it or not. I wasn't expected to be a huge fan of it. I'm a fan of football. I love football. 8-man is not that bad, actually. It was actually pretty competitive and fast, super fast. So that's what's going on there. I'll try and get something up on the website, full schedules. Buffalo News had it out, so you can check the paper too. Riggy had that up this morning, so thank you to him. Today's show, first guest is a lovely young lady from Mount St. Mary's. Her name is Gabby Giglia. I was butchering that poor girl's name. I apologize. It's not Giglia. It's Giglia. Like Jill, Jill, and then E, and then Jill E. So, Gabby Giglia, don't mess that name up. Any of you guys out there or girls that are pronouncing that name, 3-sport athlete, scholar athlete, honorable mention as well. She's Mount St. Mary's 3-sport athlete, volleyball, basketball, softball. She was going to do track this spring. If we got around to a season, we'll have to wait and see. She'll be heading to Oswego in the fall to pursue a career in sports broadcasting. So I definitely was interested in speaking with her and had a lovely chat, and you're going to see that in just a few seconds here. Marquel Slaughter, who formerly of the Buffalo News, the Cheektowaga Community Papers. He grew up in the Cleve Hill District, knew Coach Percival, played for Coach Percival, who recently passed. And I thought it'd be a good idea to get Marquel in to get his thoughts on the passing of this great teacher and coach and just faculty member from that Cleve Hill District. So we did that, and he's going to be on today. You'll hear from him. So that's the show in a nutshell for today. I'll have some comments after these two interviews, but enjoy Gabby, enjoy Marquel. You'll hear from them right now after a word from our sponsor, Frank Wolf, WNYathletics.com. You're watching the Sportsline.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
Welcome back to the WNY High School Sportsline. I am now joined by Mrs. Gabby Giglia from Mount St. Mary's. Miss Giglia, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been a while. We've been trying to get you on here, but finally found the right day and time, and it couldn't pick a more beautiful day. It's sunny out, but we're still kind of trapped in isolation here with the whole COVID thing going on. Miss Giglia is a three-sport athlete the last 4 years at Mount St. Mary's. She came from Our Lady of Blessed Sacrament in Depew, chose Mount St. Mary's. Her older sister attended that school as well. She's going to graduate at the end of this spring and will go on to Oswego, where she's going to study broadcasting and mass communications. Gabby, we had talked a little bit off the air, and I wanted to ask you again so that others can understand. You came from a school in Depew, another private school in Depew, and you came all the way out to Kenmore with probably less than a handful of girls from your school. How difficult was it going to a brand new school in the 9th grade, and how quickly were you accepted by the other girls, and was it a difficult transition for you?
I would say it wasn't that much of a difficult transition due to the fact that volleyball did start over the summer, and having tryouts start in the beginning of August. I already knew like some freshmen and sophomores coming into my freshman year of school. So it was a pretty easy transition, I would say.
Talk about your first few years there playing JV on the different teams you were involved with, volleyball, basketball, and softball.
So for volleyball, I think for all over the span of the three sports, we were all pretty close. Like I was really close with all of my friends. And then like softball, my freshman year, I had injury, and I had to have surgery on my leg from sliding. So they were so supportive, and like I couldn't ask for a better team for that situation.
Talk about some of the girls you really bonded with over the last 4 years that you're going to walk away as like lifetime friends. Anybody in particular?
I would say probably the people I'm friends with like now, like Sam Hare, you already talked to, Tori Port, you already talked to, some other friends from like softball that I'm so close with that that I would still be friends with outside of high school.
What type of coaches at Mount St. Mary's have had an impact on you?
I would say all of them in the best possible way. They have helped me like grow and like develop myself, not only through sports, but through my appearance as like I want to be shown throughout like my future. So I think they have all helped me.
I know you want to get into the broadcasting and communications field. That's why why you selected Oswego. Yes. What is it about that field that attracted you to it, and what do you see yourself doing, and what do you want to accomplish by going through these programs?
I found like when I was younger, I always watched sports growing up, and when I would sit and watch sports, I could like see myself like calling, like I would just sit there and start calling the game. Like I would just start talking and be like, oh, this is what's going to happen next. This is what's going to happen next. And I just figured, why not make it into like a career path and try and see if that would work out for me. So that's why I chose Oswego, because I know their program is so like great there.
There are females in broadcasting. There are females on a game day broadcast. You don't see a lot of women though doing the actual play-by-play. You see a lot of them do maybe the color. I, off the top of my head, cannot name you one full-time female play-by-play announcer. I think you'd be a trailblazer in a sense. Is that something you'd like to do, is do the play-by-play?
Yeah, I think just like watching, like I've been a big Bills fan, a big Yankees fan. I know like how it's always like pro like male, and I think like it would be so cool to be like a female in that field because I know it needs some like growing in.
I'm not going to hold the Yankee fan against you on this program, being that we're diehard Red Sox fans here. But we will. Well, we're just going to let that slide for now. We'll talk about. Well, you're Italian. You got to be a Red Sox Yankees fan, right?
Always.
All right. So I mean, there are opportunities for you in Western New York to do that if at some point you're off um, on leave from school or for one reason or other. You could always intern at WNY Athletics and follow some of those people that do those games for us. We have no girl interns at this time, sad to say. So we'd love to have more female interns that want to enter this field. Yesterday we had Jenna Clary on from WKBW Channel 7. No different than yourself. She went to a nice school out in Michigan and then went to college and started to learn her craft. So that's an interview you might want to rewatch tomorrow or when you get time, and then maybe even reach out to Jenna. She'd be happy to pass along any notes she can if you've never talked to her before. She's very easy to talk to. Same thing with Mary Margaret Johnson, who I see quite a bit at Mount St. Mary's when there's events going on. She was at your school quite a bit in your gymnasium. Out of the three sports, volleyball, basketball, Out of those three sports, volleyball, basketball, and softball, any one of the three that you like more than the other?
I would say probably softball. I like the most just because I've been playing it the longest. It's been a big family like tradition of mine, and like everyone's played softball, and I just love that sport so much.
You're going to attempt to walk on at Oswego.
I would like to, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'm pretty open with my options for going into college, so we'll see what it turns out to be.
Have you had any discussions with the coach there at all about your plans to possibly walk on?
Yes, I've talked to the coach over there, and she says like she would be like happy for me to like see if I can walk on and stuff like that.
Okay. Your coach at Mount St. Mary's, what has he told you about playing at the next level?
We have talked about it, but I haven't really talked that much about it because I'm not open to like if it happens, it happens. Once again, I'm going to college to learn how to choose my career path, and that's like what I've told myself. Like, so if sports happen, if it happens, it happens, I guess. And I want like to make myself realize that like school comes first when I go to college.
So obviously you and all your friends and all the other seniors in high school right now that play a spring sport are obviously on the fence right now. We're not sure if we're going to have a season. If you don't have that final softball season, are you going to be completely heartbroken? Are you going to be more upset if you don't get a chance to walk across the stage with those girls that you walked the halls with for the past 4 years? Are you going to be more upset if you don't get that nice graduation ceremony as opposed to being able to wear the Mount St. Mary jersey one more time? If you had one or the other, what would you go with?
That's a hard question. I think I would choose the softball, to like wear my softball jersey, just because those people like that closure, if I don't choose to play softball in college, would just be like the best thing for me. And I know like I would love to do both, but like I think softball would be
Well,
that's how much I would love to see that season.
I guess I'm surprised, not so surprised by your answer. But that's very interesting. It's very interesting. And a lot of the other athletes that I've talked to kind of answered, I didn't necessarily pose that question in that way to them, but I get a sense that they would like to put on their baseball jersey, lacrosse jersey, or softball jersey, or track and field outfit one more time. But we'll have to wait and see. Gabby, what else would you like to tell us about your last 4 years at Mount St. Mary's? And what would you tell a young lady who's going to be beginning her freshman year this September on Delaware Road there, Delaware Avenue?
It's been like the best 4 years of my life. Like I made like the greatest friends and like the best memories from that school. And if like someone going into school, like going to Mount next year, I would tell them like it might be a little bit scary to begin with, but like everyone there wants you to succeed, and that's like the most important thing.
Awesome. Well, Gabe, I really appreciate your time today, and we'll continue to follow your career path. And of course, our doors are open here at WNY Athletics for an internship. We'd love to have you in the fold here.
Thank you. I may have to take that up sometime.
Well,
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA, with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.
welcome back, everybody, to WNY High School Sportsline. I am now joined by my good friend Marquel Slaughter, who left Buffalo in about October 2016. He took a job at the Observer Dispatch in Utica, which covers Section 3, the largest section in New York State for high school sports. And Markel's doing his thing out there covering the Utica, Rome, high schools out that way. He also does the Baseball Hall of Fame each summer, and just a year or so ago, you may remember the Buffalo Sabres played a preseason game out there as part of the Hockeyville package. Well, Marquel he covers the Clinton Arena. So the Buffalo Sabres went out there, and he covered that front to back. He was with the Buffalo News, also with the community papers as well. But before that, Marquel was a student in the Cleve Hill School District. And I wanted to bring him on today to just share his thoughts and memories of Coach Percival, whom that community lost just last week. We had the Memorial Parade for him on Saturday. And Marquel, I know you were watching on Facebook. Thank you very much for joining me on Sportsline today. We do miss you here in Western New York. I run into you every now and again out in Syracuse.
Now and again, yeah.
Playoff season, that's always a joy for me. And the rest of us that come out there, always look forward to seeing you out there. But number one, Marquel, how you doing out there during this time of coronavirus?
I'm doing fine. I'm healthy. Family's healthy. Pretty much everyone I know is healthy. I had one friend who did get sick, but he got over the coronavirus. But other than that, everything's going well. Praying every day, that the family's straight, and everything's working out so far. I apologize. I wish I could have gotten a cut for you, sharpen this up. It's getting rough out here, but everything's good, man. Everything that I can control is good.
Marquel, you normally have your own style. Like you can't duplicate. You have your own style when you go out and dress and things like that. You're known for, you're a trendsetter when it comes to dress. So, but today, I mean, you look like a normal fan of football. You got your Cleve Hill football jersey on, your Bison's hat. I think you missed Western New York.
Let's go. I tried to do it up a little bit. I wanted to wear my blue one because this one is a little dirty. I got to wash it. But I was able to find my white high school jersey to rep for Cleve Hill and Coach P. Usually I try to dress. I don't know. I'll let y'all be the judge of how well I dress. But I try to do my thing every once in a while.
We love it. We're a big fan of that. So, but Marquel, you were a student for most of your life, most of your school life in the Cleve Hill district.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I think you told me was your first gym teacher.
Yep, or maybe not my first, but definitely I had him in elementary school. At some point, he became my gym teacher.
So you started a relationship back then,
Yeah.
and then you came back to the Cleve Hill district for 7th grade all the way through high school.
Yeah.
You did play football there. I read your article in the Observer, and it was a column dedicated to Coach Percival, and it was heartbreaking to read most of that, to be honest. You had a good, solid relationship with him. What are some of the memories? And if people want to go and visit that article. You could see it on Twitter. I'll retweet that out today from my account, but it's in that in the Observer Dispatch, or just search Marquel on Twitter. I have your Twitter handle up right there for people to find you. But just talk about some of the early stories between you and Coach Percival, especially when you were playing football for him. You talked about a 7-on-7 tournament that you played in, where you made an interception and he congratulated.
Yeah, I was. Well, the one thing, one background to that story was that I was my main circle of friends when I was in high school, of people like Jeff and Tristan. Shout out to them. They were like natural, really good athletes. Really, really good athletes. I'm way shorter than them, chubby guy, not nowhere near as naturally gifted as them. So these guys, they may not go to the gym as often as other people to work out and impress the coaches, and I'm just sticking with them. I'm like, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So by the time football season comes, I'm surprised, like, why I'm not playing. And it's because I wasn't nowhere near as naturally gifted as these guys were. And so there was a point where I really had to focus in on work ethic, because I was blinded by that just from being best friends with some of the better athletes in the school. And that was a good example. That summer that would have been entering my sophomore year of high school. And I wanted to play. I was tired of sitting on the bench, and I wanted to play, so I was working my butt off. 7-on-7 camps comes, and end of the game, I was at safety, made that interception. I fell on the ground and somehow caught it on the ground. And he walks up to me and says, "Marquel, that was a great play, man. I'm gonna get you on the field. I'm gonna find a way to get you on the field this year." And come the fall, I'll be on the field, and then I wouldn't be on the field, and then I would be. And like I said in the story, it was to no fault of his own. I was just not that good at football. But I appreciate that he believed in you, or he made you, even if maybe you didn't believe in yourself, he was going to make sure you knew that he believed in you. Another memory I had was a football game. I remember one of my friends that I just named, Tristan, he couldn't play a game. He was our running back, best player on the team easily. And he had to miss a game. So my other friend, Marquise, had to come in for him. And I remember the day, or the last practice before the game, I want to say we had to go to Alden. But at the end of practice, Percival has the sauce all kneeled down talking to us. Him and I should shout out Brighton Baker too, Coach Brighton Baker. He's at Cheektowaga Central now. But Percival has us on one knee after the last practice before the game, and he's just pumping us up. "Do y'all believe in Marquise? Do y'all believe in Marquise?" And the man is such a rah-rah guy, man. I think we ended up losing that game anyway. Marquise did well. We did believe in him, but we ended up losing that game. But it's just stuff like that he makes you believe in yourself when you don't even believe in yourself. And the biggest thing was definitely his school spirit, how he implemented that in everyone from when I first met him in elementary school and on. Is Eagle Pride this, Eagle Pride that, blue and gold this, blue and gold that. He's the one that really like made that in inception early on. And all throughout high school, he ran the pep rallies, and he was amazing at that. He started I don't know when he started getting on that motorcycle. They didn't like the motorcycles in the school when I was there, but but the motorcycle thing is definitely dope. And I mean, he's basically when you think of Cleve Hill or school spirit, is definitely him.
I played the YouTube video last week of I was told that's his final pep rally. And he came in on the motorcycle and was like, "What is this guy doing?" I'm like, I didn't have they had music in the background, so you couldn't really hear it, but that gym had to be super loud. that
Oh,
motorcycle.
always.
But that would have got any high school pep rally going.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was pretty cool.
Whatever was playing had to be classic rock. He's a classic rock guy.
Sure.
He loves his Guns N' Roses and stuff like that. And AC/DC. Actually, the one video I think was an AC/DC song. But yeah, he's a big classic rock guy.
Talk about Percival off the field, like seeing him in the hallway. What was he like in the? I mean, this memorial parade this past Saturday had to be upwards of 500 cars ready to partake in the parade that went through, left Cleve Hill and eventually passed his mother's house before it ended. I mean, that went on for 15, 20 minutes worth of cars.
Mm-hmm.
You just know that his impact was felt far beyond the sidelines and the track, all the way into the classroom among faculty and those that he didn't necessarily coach. So just from a teacher standpoint, what was he like there as you were a student? He
was one of the funniest teachers in the school, definitely. He'll casually talk with you about what's going on in the world of sports or outside of school, checking up on you. But he'll also show you some tough love too. He wasn't afraid to get mad at you. For the right reasons though. You would definitely deserve it. Yeah. I didn't know him as well as a lot of other people. A lot of other people can speak more to him more about his personality than I can. But I know the man I knew was a jokester, always twirling his whistle around in the halls, checking up, hey, did you see this last night? Did you see that last night? But he also showed you some tough love. I got a few stories that I shared was gym class. My very last gym class, mind you. If you follow me on Twitter for my bio, for the longest time, you would see I put something like greatest Eagle rugby player of all time. That's a Cleveland Hill gym game. Hard to explain, but we play with like a Nerf football. There's two teams. You're throwing a Nerf football to each other, passing it to each other, and the objective is to throw the Nerf football into a net, and there's a goalie guarding the net. That's basically the best way I can explain Eagle rugby. But it was the best game ever, and probably because I was good at it. But that was my best sport. And the very last class, like the boys are always rough when it comes to Eagle rugby. We're always pushing, shoving, tripping and stuff. And the very last class just happened to be a really bad one. And he stopped the game at one point and said, "Hey guys, next time y'all get too rough, I'm stopping the game. I don't care if this is your last gym class ever or not." And I just remember I got the ball. I shoot and I scored, but while the ball was heading towards the net, one person that like hit me in the shoulder, another person like tripped me, so I'm falling to the ground as I'm throwing the ball into the net, and I just hit the ground real hard. Ball goes in the net. I'm like, yes. Next thing I hear, with the whistle. All right, guys, that's it. I told y'all I wasn't playing. We had to just sit there on the gym floor for the rest of the class. He did not care at all. He didn't play like that, man. Other stuff in gym was I know a lot of people remember badminton time. We'd play badminton for like a week or two, and he loved badminton, and he was really good at badminton. And he had a deal with all his gym students where if you beat him one-on-one in badminton, he'll give you 100. And I played him a couple times. He got me the first few times, but I kept getting better and better. And I finally beat him. I got him one day. And when I got my report card for that semester, I had like a B-. I'm like, where's my 100 at? Oh my gosh! So he got me on that one, but he was a cool guy. He tough. But whenever you got on him, he tell you one thing, if you didn't listen, he was gonna show you some tough love. But at the end of the day, it was all love.
Yeah. Well, you could tell that his lasting impression on the school, I mean, goes far. I mean, there were so many people at this memorial. The outpouring of support for the school in recent days, you could just tell that this man meant a lot to the community. So I had to bring you in and get your thoughts on this. And of course, we wanted to talk to you anyways because we miss you out there in Utica. But yeah, we definitely wanted to let people know exactly who didn't know who Coach P was. Marquel, I didn't know him. I didn't know him. You know, I've only been doing high school religiously since 2015 or so. I know we have crossed paths. I've seen him on the sideline. I definitely saw him at New Era Field when Cleve Hill was winning all those Section 6 championships. But it was he's someone that I wish I would have known a little bit more, especially after hearing these stories. And now you kind of make it your purpose to get to know more of the coaches around Western New York, especially guys like Tony P.
So how was the motorcade or whatever when you went up there? How was your experience?
So I wanted to take my son there. I had to go see this. I wanted to just get a little video of it just to see this. And the way we came in, the back way, I didn't want to park by the football field because I knew it was going to be busy back there. It had been on social media, so I knew that there was going to be a lot of cars. So I tried to go in the back way, and I figured I'd just set up a camera and have them pass by me. When I got back there, though, we got stuck behind. There had to be 100 cars in this lot that only fits 20 or 30.
Yeah,
now we're in the parade. Now we're in the parade, and I started recording once they started moving the cars out of the lot. We recorded on our phone for about 9 minutes, and then I had to stop. My son was starting to get a little aggravating in the back, and I didn't want to start yelling at him on camera. So, but I'm telling you, that was only about halfway through the procession from the back lot where the field is. That went on for another 9 to 10 minutes, and then before they got to me, my lot probably had 3 to 5 minutes worth of cars pulling out. So it was amazing. And then, you know, they had fire trucks and police escort and all that. People lined in the streets, coming out in their front yards. Cleve Hill pictures, posters, jerseys decked out along the route. Not every single house, but a majority of people came out to pay their respects. And I didn't know where his mother's house was. Now that you told me off the air where it was, I can understand. Yeah, that had to be it. There just seemed to be so many people at this one location. You know, social distancing can be damned at that point.
Yeah.
You know, and rightfully so. So it was a beautiful tribute, Marquel. Couldn't have been a perfect day for it. The weather was good, and it was a nice motorcade, and I'm glad that I was a part of it. To be honest,
I'm really glad to see how it turned out. Especially, I mean, I don't know how many people knew he was sick. I definitely didn't, but I just remember waking up to texts and DMs of people saying, "Oh my gosh, you see what happened to Coach P?" And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Not Coach P, Coach P." Yeah. Like, please don't. And I'm thinking the worst, of course, and hoping that it's not as bad as I'm thinking it is. And come to find out, as soon as I went on my Facebook, I'm not on Facebook too much. I'll go on there, do some scrolling just to see what's going on. But it was the one nice thing about, not that you want this to ever happen, but it's been very nice and comforting to see so many faces and so many names that I really haven't seen or heard from in such a long time. Mm-hmm. Someone created I'm pretty sure it was his wife, Lisa, created a private Facebook memorial page for him, just as a way to memorialize him, since they can't make any funeral arrangements right now. But last time I checked, it was close to 1,500 people on there. But as soon as I got invited to that thing Tuesday morning, it was just dozens and dozens of photos and messages from one person to another, just talking about their experiences with them, and I'm seeing people that I didn't know that went to Cleveland, that went to Cleveland way before me, way after me. People that I went to school with, a little older, a little younger, or my age. It was very nice to see all those people again. It's crazy that something like this had to kind of bring us in the same space again, but it's been very comforting to see so many people that I grew up with and around that I used to spend every day with 15 years ago or so, back in the same area again, with the help of social media. And they're telling stories about Coach P I never heard. They're telling stories about him that I was familiar with. Stuff like that has been very overwhelming 7 days. But like I said, I don't know how many people knew he was sick. I told you I'm not as familiar with Coach P as many others probably are, but I was not aware he was sick. So that hit me. That surprised. That completely shocked me.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming at all. He literally just retired like 2 years ago, was put into the Cleveland Hall of Fame for everything he's done. He is a grad. I think he graduated in 79, went to UB, then came back to teach, and he's coached, I think, girls basketball at some point, JV football head coach, was the head coach of track and field, and even after he wasn't the head coach of track anymore, he still stuck around the track team to coach, even coached my little brother. He coached a few state champs. A few of them were in my grade class, 2006. I wrote about him in the story. Ed, Brian, Rob Kelly, and Ray. Those four, they won a 4x1 state championship and had the school record for up until like a year or two ago, when a few of the guys like Aaron Waller and them boys broke the record. Yeah. But it was hard, man. That Tuesday morning was hard because, like I said, I had no clue he was sick, and it hit me. It hit me like a drum, man. I did not see it coming, and it couldn't have been a worse person to happen to, because everybody has, you've seen it. Everybody has awesome memories with yeah. Coach Percival. He was the man, man.
Well, Marquel, I really, really appreciate you coming on to tell some stories about Coach P, shedding some light on his career and what he meant to you and so many others that went through Cleve Hill. I'm sure we'll be talking more about this as things carry on. I'm sure they're going to do something real nice for Coach P once we get back into the swing of things. And
I actually seen I think they're trying to make a fundraiser to put his name on the press box. Somebody's about to put that in action. For a long time, he's been the voice of the Eagles for football and basketball games. And that press box, I seen in a memorial page, there's plans to try to fundraise to get his name on there, which would be the perfect tribute. Tribute.
I agree. But hey, we'll catch up with you real soon. Keep on doing what you're doing out there in Utica. We'll catch up to you before you know it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll run into. Ooh, I can't wait till sports happen again. Who knows when? But we seem to catch up. We seem to bump into each other when we least expect it. So whether it's sports or something else, I'm sure you're around.
I just like sneaking up on you.
Love it. And now I know whenever I feel that arm around my neck, I know that is now. I know what that is now. But it was awesome to see you at that. When was the last time the Section 3? Yeah, Cortland for the girls soccer Section 3 championships. Yeah. And I had like five teams in there. I was shooting. I was writing. That was a crazy day, man. And
that was cold. It was windy, cold.
It's always cold. It's always. It's the weather is never ideal. No. When for those championship games ever. But hopefully something like that comes back around so we can. I want to come back to Buffalo, but I know that Buffalo's a hot spot right now compared to Central New York. So I'm a little scared to come there sooner than later, but I'm hoping to be back home whenever this calms down.
Just give us a heads up so we know you're coming in.
Yes, sir.
WNYathletics.com is the premier high school sports website in Western New York, providing the best sports coverage of Section 6 and Monsignor Martin leagues. Check out our page for daily game recaps and late-breaking sports news. Our online scoreboards are updated in real time. Never miss a goal or touchdown. Visit WNYathletics.com today or follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube.
Well, that was a pretty good show. Two great guests, Gabby Giglia from Mount St. Mary's and Marquel Slaughter from the Observer Tribune, who does now Utica Section 3 high school sports out there. And he's missed by a lot of us here in Western New York in the media and a lot of the athletes. Marquel does a great job, and we wish him the best as always. So not much going on in terms of sports, as you know. I hope you enjoyed previous to this one earlier today. Tom Prince had all those baseball players on. That was pretty cool. You know, Tom really busted his tail to get that Western New York Athletics baseball day here, and he had 20 teams, 10 games, all up at Niagara Falls High School in that beautiful new sports complex, and it gets wiped out. But believe me, we'll have that again next year. We will have that. We will get that off the ground. Tom's hard work, it'll continue, and it'll pay off next year for all those high school athletes and fans and coaches and programs and things like that. We are going to highlight the baseball programs in Western New York. We'll try and do something for softball too, but one thing at a time. Rome wasn't built in a day. So we will get it. We will get everything for baseball that we'll have the same for softball at some point. So we just need time. We're working hard for Western New York high school athletes, and it's just one day at a time right now. So we're doing everything we possibly can between Tom Prince and myself and all the guys at WNY Athletics that helped me put this stuff together. Can't thank them enough. All these guests that come on every night, whether it's Tom's Coach's Corner Show or the Sportsline, we want this to continue throughout the school year. So when there are sports, there's even more to talk about. But we'll get there. We're gonna get there, I promise you. So thank you very much for continuing to watch. Tomorrow night on the Sportsline, Russ Kingsbury threw this idea out to have guys come in and talk about the end of the basketball season, the athletes, the first team, second team, all Western New York. We're going to do just that. We're going to do just that tomorrow and then some. I've got Center Court. Chad Andrews will be here for the second segment. We have two roundtables, okay? So the first roundtable discussion will be coaches. I've got Tony Pulvereni from O'Hara on board. I've got Kyle Husband from Canisius on board. I've got John Otto from Lancaster on board. I've got Jim King from Middle Early College, and Larry Jones from Depew. So I got 5 coaches coming in to discuss their seasons and then some. And then in the second roundtable is where Chad Andrews comes in. Miguel Rodriguez from the Buffalo News will be joining us on that roundtable. I'm very excited to have Miguel here with us. Tom Prince from WNY Athletics, he's seen a ton of basketball just as much as anyone else, so he will be out as well. And someone from the Post-Journal, I'm not sure if it'll be Matt Spielman or Scott Kinberg, but one of the two will be joining us as well. Nobody's going to be left out. We will talk basketball tomorrow right here on the Sportsline. Tune in at 8 p.m. You're going to have a lot of great stuff coming at you tomorrow night right here on the Sportsline. Thank you for watching. Have a good night. Be safe. Be safe.